Look at that. I'm fast as fuck, boys. Look at that. I'm fast as fuck. I heard myself. Shut up, me. Hey, guys, it's D&D time.
Whoa!
Hey!
Hey, what did I say? What did I say, guys? I told you. Nathaniel's on this shit. No, you didn't. Crumpet, refresh! We're back! A dinosaur story!
Also, we got the Valentine D&D stuff that Ruben wants us to show off as well.
Exciting! That's
All
great.
right.
That's great. Okay,
I'll go ahead and do that. While we wait, if you want to keep talking to everyone.
Yeah, chat. I told you guys I'd be back.
I'll zoom in.
Look at these. Look at these wonderful, wonderful little Valentines. Do you think we should wait to show everybody? Can everybody see these?
I'm slowly zooming in more and more. Wait, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more.
So Alor and an otter got together and made. We spent. Are you okay?
Yeah. It's the sound Myrtle makes.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Now you guys can see it in all of its glory.
Made these fantastic Valentines based on our characters, which is pretty much Sunny's MO. Let's cause problems on purpose. I'll add you to my list, Valentine. Career pirate of the crew, McCleary, is found himself fish out of water because he's surrounded by a bunch of children. I can hold my breath for an hour, says the TILF. Can we get some TILFs in chat, please? I'd kill you last.
I still love that one.
These are such good encapsulations of their character, too.
Yeah. Alpha, you were there when you saw my Valentine's redemption in my Twitch, right?
Yes, I did. Oh
I'm gonna
my
keep
God.
it.
It's fantastic. I'll always come back to you, Valentine. So, chat, this character has something to do with the end of the world previously. The previous world ended, and we're still not sure exactly what he did, and nor is he. Anyway, this is my character, Harlow. You're not my dead wife, but you'll do, Valentine. Last game, we found out that Harlow's wife was killed by the Empire. I'd let you roll with advantage. That's our DM.
Yeah.
That's Ruby. We love Ruben. He's great. He's
and we got summon TV emotes for D&D too, so please use them, guys.
Chat, we have if you type in D&D, you get a 7TV emote. Look, it's got the wizard, we got the rogue, we got the green wizard, and then the fighter. Clearly, it's D&D time. And we have a bunch of other ones. Let's see what we got. What are the we have Nat 20, Nat 1. That's a chicken nugget. Wizard, sword and shield. Got a bunch of these.
Can I also talk about, because I've been experimenting with a bunch of like ATOM related stuff recently.
Yeah,
I have an idea specifically for D&D.
Sure.
That would, how I have the thing that lets me like change the characters, like to show you their stats and everything like that. One that actually shows their D&D Beyond sheet that like pops up onto the screen so people can see their hit points and all that stuff like that, which might be cool. But anyway, I'm ready. I'm just excited.
I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
Give them the 30-second warning.
All right.
Hey guys, I love you. 30 seconds over.
Yo, are we live? We're doing it live. That wasn't 30 seconds.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Pirate Trouble, our pirate-themed, One Piece-inspired D&D campaign. My name is Ruben, your DM for the evening. In just a few minutes, we'll hop into episode 24 of the campaign. We're almost at 25, guys. If you weren't here last episode, or if it's your first time joining us for D&D, a recap is available in the chat. Just type !recap to catch up. As always, let me offer our special thanks to the folks who made tonight's game possible. For the art, Julian Rush and Vieira. The map illustrator is Sezi Peku. And for the stream, Moo Crush, Nathaniel, and Jonah. I believe we just showed some of the Valentine Day cards from Otter_B. Thank you so much for those. And tonight's warm-up question for the players. if your character wasn't an adventurer, what livelihood would they lead? Let's start with Marini, played by Riley.
So I have thought about this because Marini did have a job before joining you guys. She was a child caretaker.
Ooh.
And that's what she would be doing.
There we go.
Just because she's bloodthirsty doesn't mean she doesn't like babies.
How long?
She loves babies.
Well, I mean,
that
how
was
bloodthirsty is even more reason to love babies, right?
That was mostly her entire adult life because Marini's like 39. So that's like been her job for a while.
So she is a MILF.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like your job that much, can always give you more work.
It's like a young MILF, I guess.
Marini would steal babies.
Town boy!
On that note, next, let's do Harlow, played by Jonah.
Let's see. What would I do if I wasn't an adventurer? I imagine, because I'm not technically an adventurer. I held like a military position at one point and just kind of forced into adventuring. So I feel like he would either still be in the Navy, but like not the Empire Navy. He would still be in like, he's fighting at home on the home front, but he saw so much shit on the home front. It was almost worse than being an adventurer. He saw like, trench warfare and like, awful, horrendous war conditions. So I feel like he'd much prefer this position as like the captain of a ship with a crew that doesn't want to kill him and like not fighting every day and having a decent amount of food and,
They're not eating
like
hardtack and
Yeah, exactly.
Nate just pinned, if Harlow wasn't an adventurer, he'd be a wife haver.
He'd be a wife haver.
He have his own hair, his own
That's a
farm.
deep cut.
Guys, that's great.
Carlos got no
in
bitches.
game.
Next up, let's do Freya, played by Courtney.
So, Freya, as we know, she's a fighter. Like, as naive and, like, goofy and, not thinky as she is, she'd be she knows what she's doing when it comes to battle. And that's more than likely because of her dad. So if she was an adventurer, she probably would have been, like, convinced to join and serve under her father's command.
You know what I could also see, and this is just headcanon, like eventually down the road, like at the end of the campaign, you take up like what Pip does and you just sell like really interesting baubles and like things that you think are cool.
I think she'd be more of a peruser of said baubles.
That's also valid.
She doesn't want to, well, because she has her own little hoard. She, like, if she gets new things that she thinks are cool, she wouldn't want to sell them. She'd want to keep them. She'd have a shop where she doesn't sell anything.
yeah, like those typical antique shops where you're loaded with shit and you never
So
sell it.
It's permanent window shopping.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. Next up, let's do McCleary, played by Chad.
Hello. I think that McCleary I think he'd be a family man. I think he would have settled down and he'd probably have kids and a family.
Are you sick, Chad? Are you okay?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
by the
Chad,
way,
you sound
I'm sick.
different.
Yeah, so I am sick. Yeah.
You sound like 8 years ago when we used to be in Skype calls all the time.
He does.
I traveled back in time.
Sounds like a new person. How are you the Chad that I know? How much do you know about Skinwalker Ranch?
Can't confirm or deny
Fuck.
its existence. No, I am sick, so I'll probably McCleary. I can't really do his voice, so that's gonna be a thing.
No worries, man. No worries.
Just do the accent. You'll be all good. You sound good.
I'll he had too much grog the night before and slept out
so
under
weird.
the stars. But he would run. I think he'd run like a seaside inn. Like he'd be like the barkeep that gets all the stories,
Aw.
I like that.
And he's got like a kid like on his knee, scrubbing a glass.
Lovely.
There's 6 little nuggets.
Next up, let's do Myrtle, played by Nathaniel.
He did do something before becoming a pirate. Before he was drafted into the military, he used to make toys in between war for kids that were war-stricken and had no kind of thing like that. So he used to make magical toys and glass blowing, and then he became a pirate.
That's so cute. Damn it.
He was Santa Claus.
What kind of toys? Anything made out of glass.
Oh, he made
Sand
dildos.
turtle.
Got it.
Yep. I mean,
I mean, I guess for the Genasi, right? Someone will use them. Anyway, next, let's do Takai, played by Ryan.
So, what Takai would prefer to be doing if he wasn't adventuring, would be working on OnlyFans.
No, for people in the audience who haven't been watching us for 24 sessions now, OnlyFans is a canonical location in this campaign. Anyway, go on, Ryan.
So yes, 100%. He would be a traveling sex worker on the OnlyFans ship because one, he'd still get to travel. Two, you get to meet and sleep with several interesting people. What would actually happen if he wasn't an adventurer is he would be a boring fisher back in his hometown until the day he died.
Wow, incredible. I love it. I love you, Ryan. Next up, let's do Razim, played by James.
The first thing that came to mind was that he would be some type of barista at some Starbucks-esque place. His own place. Except
Is he a barista? I love that.
Yeah, his own little shop that on like maybe the beach or something, and probably just sell hot cocoa.
I like that.
Different types of hot cocoa.
Nice.
Awesome. And somehow, I don't know why he's here because he should be sleeping, given how sick he is. Last but not least, I will restate the question for you, sir. If your character wasn't an adventurer, what livelihood would they lead? This is for Sunny, played by Corey.
Hello.
Precious
Sorry,
Babby.
I've literally just woken up like 5 minutes ago. I was very asleep.
Sir, you have pneumonia.
No, it was only in one lung.
Oh my god.
Sunny's 16. He would still be in school. I think he probably has just left school to go adventure, so he probably should go back.
So he'd be a student.
He's a student. Otherwise, he probably is just, when like you go on the subway and there's just people busking. That's probably him. He's like, nah, capitalism can't hold me down.
Excellent.
He's a guy that plays like the drum and the harmonica and the thing all at once.
Yeah, just
The one-man band?
Yeah, the one-man band.
Nice.
Okay. Before I move on to the recap and get started, I do have a kind of a mild surprise. Don't get too excited. I'm going to be introducing a few new pieces to the rival mechanics. And I have a few changes to everything else we've done. I want to just refresh everyone's recollection on the new mechanics that have been added to the game, this campaign. So for the general audience, we're playing D&D. It's for fantasy. Usually it's geared towards monster hunting. But this is One Piece inspired, and I want this to feel as anime as we possibly can. So we have a handful of mechanics here. First, we have crew actions, which are things the captain can do as sort of a bonus team action each round of initiative and combat. Let me actually post. This is the introduction document.
I'll show it on the stream as well.
Lovely. So if I can grab the link again. Here we go. So y'all are now at rank 2. So rank 1 is your crew has survived a battle at sea. That was the very first session. 2, your crew has worked together with another pirate crew to win a battle. Salome. So you've now you now have access to 1, 2, 3 different abilities you can use in any initiative that the captain can decide. So the captain's Harlow. Let's see here. You also don't want to forget that you have the pushing yourself mechanic. So you can sacrifice half of your HP and get a special benefit. That benefit can either be a D20 that you can use for any roll, a fate die. You can also sacrifice half of your HP to make an unconscious character who is making death saves back up with 1 HP, who can then make an attack. Or you can increase your AC for the duration of the battle. It currently says 1 or 2. I'm going to bump that up to 3, so that's actually a more viable option.
Okay, nice.
Okay, so let's talk about the new rival mechanics, because I'm trying to figure out what makes rivals cool and what sort of moments I want to see happen. So I have 2 different new mechanics. One is called Leave Them Out of It, and the second one is called We Got This. I'm going to ask a volunteer to just read this first one, and then I will kind of give a little more explanation. So anyone wants to...
Volunteer. Or, yeah, James, if you want to go.
Yeah, let me just get the file real quick.
Oh, it's in Discord.
pasted.
It's in the Discord chat.
Oh, he just posted it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, leave them out of it. Okay, got you. Okay. Leave them out of it. A player may declare leave them out of it at the start of any turn while in combat against their rival. Once triggered, their rival takes the focused condition and must ignore all other combatants and focus their sole attention only on their rival. If any other character attacks the NPC rival, the condition ends. The player may choose to end the condition themselves at any point, but may not trigger it a second time until after a long rest. If the player falls unconscious, the condition ends. As a benefit to this declaration, along with protecting their friends, the character's courageous action vests them with 3d10 temporary hit points.
Ooh, nice. That's really cool. I like that.
So,
That's pretty sick.
The moment here is where the rival, is a big threat to the entire party, and will still have all of their abilities. But if you want to just have a one-on-one with this person and take all the hits, or at least temporarily do so, you can make that happen. So imagine Achilles comes to the battlefield again, and you want to allow everyone else to focus on the lackeys, and just you face
oh, that's neat.
your guy. And the second one, I will read this because it's a bit longer. This is designed to introduce combo moves. This was a mechanic that Nate had in his game that I have wanted to include in some capacity. I'm totally borrowing this. So I will post this here. So We Got This. If 2 characters who share the same rival declare We Got This at the start of their turn in combat against the shared rival, the NPC takes the focus condition, like the above description. However, the 2 players may elect to use combo moves that garner a combat bonus listed below. Once used, the bonus is exhausted and may not be used again. Once all 4 bonuses are exhausted, the rival's focus condition ends if it hasn't already. The rival's focus condition remains unless the 2 characters end it together, or if both fall unconscious. If the 2 characters elect not to use a bonus, they may still narratively describe a combination attack without a mechanical benefit. Finally, once 2 characters declare We Got This, they may elect to share the same initiative, choosing the higher of the 2. So we have one individual who shares the same rival with 2 player characters, Achilles, where I believe it's it's
Takai and Sunny.
Takai and Sunny, who both have so Takai and Sunny can both work together in a kind of focused combat against Achilles if you want to. You have the ability to choose to push him a particular direction. You can force him to use his strongest attack against you that then expends that permanently for the course of the battle. You can get advantage on your attack, or you can do like a JJK and swap places during the battle. So I'm trying to like create a benefit to these moments. The other piece of this is that we have 8 players. We're not probably going to have 8 very specific rivals for each person. So it's likely that we'll have multiple characters declare the same rival. I want to keep it capped at 2 though, so that we can kind of keep this thing balanced.
Sorry, Myrtle.
Question, huh?
Nothing.
Question: can enemies can 2 enemies have us as a rival and do the same thing?
No.
Okay.
Now, when you declare someone a rival, they get enhanced narrative importance, and they will get rival moves that can only be used against their rivals.
Okay.
So you do power up the bad guy when you have multiple people have them as a rival, because then it means that they can't go down easy, right?
Right.
But short answer is not in the same way. This is only a benefit that players get.
I like it.
Cool. All right. I think that is our fun new rules for the game. Let me move on to... Ooh, someone have water?
I have water.
Cool. When last we left our heroes, the party had just finished a combat against a naval vessel and secured that naval vessel for themselves. They proceeded to investigate different rooms and compartments on the ship. They found a strange device that allows one to translate psychic communication into verbal speech and vice versa. Upon trying to test it and finding that it communicated to someone on the Imperial side, they promptly destroyed it. They also found a strange mutilated person in a rectangular case in one of the rooms of the Imperial ship who had some kind of psychic ability.
Found the psyker! We found the psyker!
And ultimately decided that it was better off with him, with them, dead. Sonny delivering.
Let it be known we tried to help him.
You did try to help. You did try to help.
You screamed at us.
With the party's position potentially revealed to the Imperium, the Limelights decided to scuttle the Imperial battleship and move on with their current plan to go to Crown Keep Island and finish their mission with Pan. Pan is a powerful pirate in this part of the world, and he promised the party a compass towards a major treasure on this island if they promised to give him half of it once they retrieved it. They came to fulfill the end of their bargain. They met him on his devilish, fiendish pirate ship. And after some discussion, they agreed to give a chest that they had found along with the treasure that contained 2 what he called devil fruits that have various magical abilities for whoever consumes them. However, the party was able to successfully deceive him in pretending like they had not found another particular artifact in that treasure hoard, specifically something called the God Compass, which seems to lead one towards more of these devil fruits along the Grand Line. With their obligation to Pan complete, they proceeded to take his advice to follow their original log pose and go up to the sky. So we are now back where we were maybe 10 episodes ago. The desire to go up into the sky towards the Sky Island where your compass, your path along the Grand Line continues. This is 2 days of travel with largely clear skies, beautiful bright sun. The winds are favorable for once after the storm over at Claystone. You're able to largely maintain your current course of travel without much difficulty out here on the Grand Line. The log pose continues, pointing upward towards the sky, though its directionality, its left-right positioning, shifts a little bit more than usual, as if it's tracking a fixed point that changes relative position based on the way that the ship is angled. So in some sense, you're getting closer. It's unclear just how the upward current, the reverse whirlpool, as Pan described, will work, but the first indications of it come to you the night before you arrive there. Bits of driftwood along the sea, first in tiny amounts, then in larger droves, pieces of a rope, sail, portions of what appear to be a cannon. There's even a skeleton among the wreckage here, clinging to one of the pieces of driftwood. It does not appear that every vessel or every crew survives the ascent. You have a final night to prepare. Limelights, what do you do?
So, question. Didn't the dude in Pan's crew say we'd have to do some work on our ship? Or does that not really matter anymore? Because I know there's like upgrades we can get to make
he
it
said
fly
that he
and
could
stuff.
repair what damage we had. We were able to take the ship into port and get it, not juiced up even, but like, touched up, so we're not going out to sea with minus 40 damage I think we took? 40, 50 damage?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Let's fucking take advantage of that. Fuck yeah. If it's,
I'm going to take
free?
advantage and start patching up the ship.
Okay.
Is there a skill roll for that, or?
So patching up the ship, you can use your existing lumber supply to heal the ship, essentially. Let me look it up, the exact numbers.
Do they have resources here to do it? Can we pawn it off?
Where's we? Where are you currently?
I thought we were with
No, we're like 2 days out.
Oh, we're 2 days out. Never mind then. Let's grease some elbows, guys.
It's okay. I have enough wood to fix pretty much about anything.
So one timber resource can be used to heal the ship by 5 HP. And you have 100 wood.
So one timber is 5 HP.
Very, very specific math here.
So we would need 8. We need 42 wood to heal this shit. Wait, no. Divided by 5. Wait a minute. Forgot a part.
We would need 8.
We would need 8.4.
Okay.
So 9. Just
So
subtract
9.
9.
Okay.
And then you'll be healed up.
All right.
All right.
We spend the day hammering on
Thank
the
you,
ship.
Ruben.
Yes. Okay.
I break out
gotcha.
the fucking
Well,
acetylene
most of us
torch.
do. Razine
Where'd
makes
you get
little
that?
Z do it.
Yeah. We all
Little
make
Z
little
do
Z
it?
our slave to the
Hey,
work.
little G.
Hammer the wood.
Say that,
Looks like you missed a
Chad.
spot.
No.
The repairs for
I
the
am
ship
blame the
is
ship by choice. I love hard labor.
Oh no.
no.
Don't tell us that the puppet loves hard labor.
But
Good.
he doesn't even like to be paid for it either.
He just eats our soul.
He's a prisoner with
Bit
a
by bit
job.
every
Sorry,
day
my
in
bad.
payment.
I would like to look at the god compass.
Okay.
Who has it?
I do.
You do? Okay. You go over to McCleary and say, "Hey, John, can we take a look at that god compass?"
Oh, hey, of course.
I like that I'm
pull
calling
it
him
out.
John now, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you John, and it'll be
Okay,
John
it's
and
gonna be
John.
confusing as fuck. Let's go.
Hey, John, here you go. He hands it over.
The compass is currently pointing, I think, to your 10 o'clock. You're currently directed mostly southward.
Okay, and the compass is pointing where? Sorry.
You're 10 o'clock. So east, southeast, I think is technically what it is.
Okay. So, I think we should go after a third one.
I think so. After we finish this business in the sky, anyway. That way our log post won't be stuck up there.
Did you see the way that Pan was eyeing us when we were talking about the compass?
He really wants that fruit.
I think this thing is way more valuable than we are giving it credit for.
I think you're right. Question is, who bites it if we get one?
I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. My question is, who else knows about it?
Well, that's the strange part. Who's making these compasses, and why, and how many are there, and
where's the fruit come from?
Aye.
Why find the fruit when I can find the tree?
Aye, maybe there's a giant tree.
Or grow underground or in the water or something, God forbid.
That would be something to look into. There's got to be someone that knows something somewhere.
I'll have to ask around.
Hey, or that Lockian feller. Remember that we met at the start of the line? He got to the end. He probably knows something about the fruit. If only we could contact him somehow.
He didn't give us anything, did he?
He gave us a cat. Freya's got his magical cat.
Can we talk through his cat?
I have no idea.
You want to
But
find
if
out?
we could.
Where's Freya?
I'm in. So I'm sorry, my mom came in for a split second. But are we on the same day that we were, when we left off, or is it a few days past?
It's 2 days out.
Okay. About what time is it?
Evening.
Evening.
Yeah.
Okay. Depending on whether or not it's after dinner, she'd either she'd be in the kitchen before dinner, in her room after.
Okay. I go to her room.
So she's in there.
Marini shares that room with Freya.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, we're
You both in
roommates.
there?
Yeah,
They were roommates.
and they're roommates.
I guess that's not a bad thing. She needs a mother figure looking after her since she's
She needs a
stupid.
mother figure looking after her. mother figure.
Yeah. So she's probably in her bed, just petting the kitty cat named Stella. I'd forgotten her name for a second, and probably just like tired after eating.
Freya.
What? And she gets up. She sits up and she's kind of holding on to the cat. What's wrong? Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's fine. Has that cat done anything weird?
No. She kind of just sits and looks out the window.
That's weird.
Don't
I look back
cats
at
usually
McCleary.
do that?
Freya, is the cat... You got that from Lockian. You think there's any way you could communicate a message to that cat?
I mean, I've never tried it before. I've never really had any reason to communicate with Lockian.
You want to try it? Also... Go ahead. You go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say?
Do we have someone on the crew that can send messages over a long magical distance?
Well, I know Sunny can do that sometimes.
Aye.
I mean, I don't know, honestly. Wait, hold on. Let me check on something. I may have. Hold on. Oh,
5G.
I have message. I can
That does
se-
not go over long distances.
Oh, it goes 120 feet. Never mind.
Well, maybe it's just a magical cat.
I show the cat the compass.
What do you think of this cat?
Yeah, does it do anything?
Hope
Hey,
he doesn't,
little
like,
kitty.
hope he doesn't smack it out of your hand into the ocean depths.
I mean, do I make that decision or does Ruben?
Lol.
Was that a meow?
That was definitely that.
I guess
I shove it a little closer to the cat.
the cat's gonna swat at it.
The reason no one respects you.
I'm trying to help.
Mm-hmm.
Aye,
Keep going. Maybe he'll say yes.
We're or my terrible idea. Let's talk to Sonny, you know. I think that's probably a better idea.
And he kind of like looks at McCleary and squints a little bit. Do you want to talk to Sonny?
I'd love to talk to Sonny, but
I'll come with
you
you.
are the captain.
I'll come with you, but you're gonna
Alright.
talk to him. I give him the compass.
Yep. All right. I pull you aside from the bedroom to the hall. So it's just us two before we had to find Sonny. You know, whatever sort of bad blood there is between you, you better quash that quick. You're the captain.
I know. He's just... I don't think he's receptive to any of this.
You know, he's a bright boy. He's a kid, Harlow. You gotta think of him like that.
But they can't
He's
use
not
that
a
excuse
grown
forever.
man. Sorry, go ahead.
They can't use that excuse forever.
No. But he hasn't lived the life you and I have.
He's about to.
That's true.
Yeah, he already killed somebody, so how much worse could it get?
Aye. Well, let's go talk to him and find out.
Meanwhile, in Marini and Freya's room, I think Mariny's like, hey, want to take shots?
Is Marini an alcoholic?
Maybe.
No, Mariny's one of
just
those
fine.
bad. Like,
No,
you know, in
it's
high
fine.
school, you get those girls that are like, "Hey, come in the bathroom with me, but bring a safety pin and an ice cube. I'm gonna
Yeah.
pierce your ear."
Mariny's like, hey, want to take shots? Hey, do you have your ears pierced?
Am I
Oh, a
allowed to?
sociopath.
Am I
Yeah, you're
allowed to?
yeah, you're like over 15.
Jesus Christ.
Huh?
Do you take shots?
Do we take shots?
Wait, so are we
Your
taking
choice.
shots right
I guess
now?
that's a
Are we
no.
do-
Okay.
Are we taking
Freya's
shots?
like, so are we taking shots?
So we take shots.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's the dangers of mixing alcohol and fire breath. Like, what happens if I cough by accident and a bunch of fire comes out?
Considering the fact that your fire breath is a once a day thing, I figure you have to physically activate it.
Yeah, that's a really
You
good
know
point. Give me the
what?
shot.
You know what alcohol Freya would probably like, but fireball.
Fireball.
Well, yeah. Mariny's like, they sneak out to the kitchen, and Mariny's like, nah, like fireball shots.
Freya, whatever you do, don't put any of that alcohol in the knapsack. If it gets in the bag of holding, I swear to dog.
Why would I?
We have a Myrtle shot too.
What kind of idiot would put fireball in a bag?
Oh, I see what you did there.
Cough, 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 cough.
Also, there's no reason for me to defend this. It wasn't my bag.
But yeah, they're just doing that. Go back to the adults having a conversation.
All right, we find Sonny. Where are you, Sonny?
If we're sailing, probably in the crow's nest.
You know, he's always in that damn crow's nest.
He's a fucking lookout. What do you want from him?
That's what the fucking bedroom is.
He sleeps there, he eats there, he looks out there.
I think he's a crow.
Yay. We climb up the
Yeah.
ladder and enter the room. See there, Sonny, you got a moment?
Sure. What's up?
Well, how are your parents?
Okay.
You know, I was kind of harsh when I told you your mom was dead, and I weren't really thinking. I'm sure she's fine, right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't she be fine? What are you trying to say, McClary?
Well, he sort of looks at Harlow. Just that I have an understanding of how the Empire works. Right, Harlow? And
Yeah. I'll go with that.
they,
Sorry about your parents.
What do you mean? Sorry about my parents.
I mean, Look, I'm not good at this. Look. Sonny, can you help us?
I mean, that depends. What do you want?
We need some way to communicate to the old man that we saw earlier in our journey, Lokian, the one at the lighthouse.
You think you could send a magical message to him somehow?
I mean, probably we met, and that's usually good enough. Ruben, is this the same day that I have made some poor choices, or have we slept since then?
It's a few days.
It's been a day, or at least since then.
Whew. Okay, cool. Hang on, let me make sure that my sheet reflects that. Oh, it does. Yeah, why? What do you want from him?
We'd like to know about the devil fruit. Ask him if he knows, I guess, anything about it. If there's, he looks at Harlow again, a tree?
Tree, underwater somewhere. Maybe even on one of those sky whales.
And tell him if he gives you some sort of cryptic message, you'll be very upset with him.
We're talking about the same guy, right?
Hey, Fire Genasi, old man, lighthouse.
I don't think he's gonna care if I'm disappointed in him.
Well,
or
then
not.
tell him I'll be disappointed in him.
Okay.
It's good to establish those things, clear off the bat.
Is that what they call establishing dominance?
Hey, sure. Let's go with that.
Okay. I will cast sending to Lokian.
Okay. And what do you tell Lokian?
Hey, remember the people who saved your cat? We have a question for you. Do magic fruit grow on trees? McCleary might be disappointed. Thanks! That's 25 words.
Well, hello. It's been a bit. Magic fruit on trees. Y'all are already in that mess. I would, try to stay away from that.
You relay this to us, I assume, Sonny?
Well, I mean, that's not a proper answer, so I think I would cast sending again. I'm gonna cast sending again. Like, that's cool. Thanks for the warning. That wasn't really an answer. Are there ocean trees? We found fruit in a box. Don't trees need air?
Lokian says,
Usually fruit do grow on trees, yes. Magic fruit might be an exception. If you're talking about devil fruit, I don't think anyone's seen them for...
That's all? I think there's a bit of miscommunication there, lad. We just wanted to... Can you send him another message?
Yeah, I've got a little bit of...
Ask him what a devil fruit is, what it does, and why he thinks it's dangerous, and then ask him where we can find the tree.
I don't think I have enough words for that, McClary.
Ask him why devil fruit dangerous, why like where tree.
Me, Tarzan.
Where tree?
All right, I guess ascending again. Okay, from McClary. Why devil fruit dangerous? Fruit no grow tree?
That's not what I told you. You're fired from this job, lad.
You're not paying me.
Well, if I was.
Hang on, I've still got words left. I'm not wasting them.
You're making the sick kid do this too, man.
Wake up,
Entire
sick
convers-
boy.
This entire conversation has been the two sick people.
Yeah,
It really
that's-
has.
Sorry, it's everyone listening.
It's beautiful.
What was it? Fruit no grow tree.
Mm-hmm. Why dangerous?
Yeah, why
No fruit
why
tree.
fruit dangerous? A fruit no grow tree? Fruit maybe whale?
Please put that in the courts channel.
Fruit maybe whale. Fruit maybe whale.
The whole thing or just fruit maybe whale?
Maybe
McCleary
whale.
is very confusing me. Bye.
Lockheed responds, fruit bad. Don't know what it does. Tree maybe. Whale. What has that to do? Hard to find. Changes you forever. Might fuck you up.
Thank you, Lockett.
Man, I don't remember Lockett ever being this patient.
Might fuck you up.
He aged like a fine wine.
Yeah, he found it in his older years.
You know,
He
after
lives
used
alone
to
on a
dealing with
lighthouse.
Finn.
Yeah. Well, that told us pretty much nothing.
What?
But it could change you.
Forever. He said forever.
He did. McCleary sort of raises his eyebrow at Harlow. Still probably worth finding, though, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Sonny. That was a lot of information.
Hey, you did good, lad. That whale thing were a nice touch.
That's thinking on your feet. Well, think we should chart a course or something.
Hey, back to it then.
Thanks again, Sonny. And he goes down the ladder.
Okay, bye.
And scene, presumably.
Yep.
I wonder if it turns you into a devil. If that's why it's called.
The
Or if it
devil.
turns you into a fruit.
Wait, I mean, they might be.
Well, I mean, Takai's already there, so.
God damn it, Riley, you beat me to it.
Hey.
The homosexuals are at it again.
Homosexuals are at it again.
These homosexuals trying to kill me.
Homosexual audacity. Hey, Lauren, you're already fruits.
Any other conversations for this evening before we head to bed?
I think Sonny just would use his. It would upcast sending if the day is over to make sure his parents are still alive. Obviously, it's not going to be great, but just to make sure they're alive. I think
What
this
does
is
he
just
say?
the thing he does now that he's pissed off Achilles. Hey, just checking in. Hope you're okay. Sorry about the jail thing. Don't know how that happened. Ha. Love ya. Bye.
Okay.
Is there a
Noted.
response?
Noted.
There's no response.
Your calls are
Mark
No,
as
Ruben.
seen. Mark
Hang
as
on.
seen.
Hang on.
marked.
I feel like I know if the message fails. Did the message fail?
The message did not fail.
Okay. Okay. Concern rising. Because I feel like this is a thing that Sunny, as long as he's got spare magic at the end of the night, is just kind of doing, since he fucked up so bad.
Just a little bit.
Fuck off.
The calls were coming from inside the house.
Fruit as well. Anyone?
Fruit as well?
Anything else for the evening before we move to the day where you will try to ascend to the heavens?
Actually, oh, go ahead.
Oh, you first. Because mine's like all of 5. Mine is like all of 6 words or so.
Oh, you go first then.
Okay. I think just for flavor's sake, I think on this night and really any nights when things are just kind of calm, Takai just casts fly and like relaxes in the air somewhere above the deck waiting for dinner.
Like it.
I would like to just have a quick check-in on Razim.
Okay.
So tell me, Razim, where are you?
I'm on the ship.
Thank God
Okay.
for that.
Yeah, I was looking for you in the ocean. My bad.
Yeah. Out of your first mistake.
What are you doing? What's the Razim evening look like?
Well, he's probably, I would say he's floating, staring at the stars, getting himself nice and relaxed for a sleep.
He, McCleary walks over and he says, "Hey, laddie, you mind floating down here for a second? I want to talk to you."
He slowly floats down. Hmm?
I just wanted to see how you're doing, considering that whole, Maserey Temple thing.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I still don't really know what to think of that, but
Right.
I figured the best thing to do for now is to not think about it so much. You know, maybe
Sure.
maybe something will come up later.
You know, tell me again. What you say you have no memories at all? Your earliest memory was waking up on a beach somewhere?
Yep. It's all empty.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of that from other sailors before.
What do you mean?
Well, say you get in a terrible shipwreck, you have a traumatizing night out in the ocean, you might forget certain parts about it, sort of as a defense mechanism.
Well, I mean, or it could be magic.
Oh,
Hmm.
you know more about that than I would.
Yeah, but I honestly don't know any of it because I'm, you know.
And when you touched that box that had a figure, and let's be honest, the figure, I mean, it could have been anyone. It could have been an ancestor. It doesn't mean that it was you. I know we gave you a hard time, but the odds of that are likely a statue that looked like you, right?
I mean, even if it was an ancestor, I mean, that looks awfully similar, right? I mean,
Hey,
even I
but-
can't deny that.
Of course, but I mean, you could look at a statue of a bald feller and you'd think it were McCleary. Let's be honest.
Nah.
You know, no?
Nah, it doesn't have that same McCleary style.
All right, well, and when you touched the box, you made it work, so there's Clearly something going on there.
Yeah.
And that gave you no inkling towards anything?
Well, to be honest, it kind of happened so fast that I'm still trying to piece it together.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose you're probably right for now when you're thinking then to not overthink it, really.
Yeah, I'm sure something will come to me eventually,
Hey, and actually, Razim,
Hmm?
you find yourself in a position that might be pretty enviable to lots of folk. With no mem-
Position? Like what?
Well, no memories of a past means you have no mistakes. You have no regrets. Your past is whatever you want it to be. All you have is a future. There's something a bit liberating about that, isn't there?
I don't know about that. Most people want to know where they're going. You don't really know where you're going if you don't know where you started.
Well,
Otherwise, you're kind of just...
go anywhere, be anything. Suppose you find out that your past was terrible, that you were a black-hearted bastard that everyone despised. It'd be better not knowing that.
For some reason, I feel like I'd be relieved.
Oh?
Yeah,
Well,
to know at least.
hey.
But this is all, guesswork, right? I mean,
Hey,
there's no way I was some type of terrible monster or anything. That'd be ridiculous. I mean, look at me.
right, you're a wizard with powers you can't control. There's
Wizard.
nothing wrong. You
I never said I was a wizard.
Well, what are you then?
Clearly, I'm just Razim.
Well, you cast spells. That makes you a wizard.
It makes me magic.
Hey,
Magical.
you grew real big that one time. That was
Razim
kinda
magic. Yeah, about that. That sometimes randomly happens when I cast magic.
weird. See, so evil.
That's not evil. That's just stupid and weird and
Hey,
definitely a mistake and not on purpose.
right. So that could be your past stared you in the face. Anyway, you're probably
You seem
right.
very interested in this.
I'm
More
just-
than me.
Well, I'm just curious is all. I have a curious nature about the crew that I'm spending me life with trying to get to this giant treasure at the end of the line.
Wow. How about this, McCleary? If I notice something, I'll let you. You'll be the first to know, okay? You'll get all the juicy details first.
I would appreciate that. Rizzo.
Yeah, I know you would.
All right, then. I'll say goodnight.
All right, McCleary.
You take care, laddie.
Oh, yeah, you too. Oh, by the way,
Hey,
where's little Z at? Kind of just disappeared on me.
couldn't tell you.
I needed more wood, so I used Razim. Is that okay?
He's lying.
I'm doing this of my free will.
God damn it, I thought the puppet was dead.
Seems like he's getting his workout today.
I want Lil Z to cuss.
They joke a lot. These guys joke a lot.
Hey,
They'll become great friends before they know it.
I think Little Z's a fine asset to the crew.
Depends on what you mean by asset, but okay.
Well, I suppose it does.
Well, I'm gonna go float back up here and sleep now. Don't tell anybody where I am.
All right.
He tries to float away and try to disappear from view while floating.
Well, I go back to my bedroom and cuddle up next to Karen.
Okay.
A bit dangerous.
No bitches.
You're gonna blow your whole dick off.
Wow.
She's not loaded.
We're just an
What?
adventure.
I like to
What's
sleep
funny-
dangerously.
What's funny here is that because they're on a boat, and unless there's threat of mutiny, there's really no threat of any kind because of how far they are out in the ocean.
Except for giant sea monsters.
I'm pretty sure there's
and other
threats.
pirates.
I will say
With legs.
Don't
Sharks
say
with
things
legs.
like that.
We were just in a naval
Say
battle.
things like that.
the very first session involves skeletons climbing on the ship. So
And storms.
Just starts out here.
retract my statement. I retract my
We've
statement.
we've been caught in a whirlpool like 2 times.
Have we really? Did I miss
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
We've almost been
Oh,
flushed
no.
by the ocean's toilet 2 times.
okay. All right.
Anyway.
Sleep comes to let me resume the music here. Sleep comes to all of you for the most part fairly well. You have a fairly big day tomorrow to plan for. This evening, though, as all of you are resting, Kai.
God damn it.
Oh my god, I was so worried it was gonna be me.
Trouble.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't that far in the future, you motherfucker.
Yes.
You see what you've seen before, only one time, several weeks ago, in fact. You're back in that dance club-like environment, the tiled floor with the different, multicolored lights flickering. And you see at the other end of the space, in that very nice velvet red chair, Bertus. He's drinking wine in one hand, flipping a coin continuously in the other. And as before, he appears to be a tall human, at least in this form, with short-cut blonde hair. His left eye has a heart etched into the iris, and his right, a spade. You find yourself seated suddenly opposite him, and as you look around the space, you see different flashes of light of the different individuals, silhouettes dancing. They, at the same time, appear to be close, but it's hard to tell exactly how far away they are. You only get the sense of their location when a particular strobe light flashes. And Vertus says, you've been interesting to watch from afar. Family drama among your friends?
Yeah. I don't know. I made that whole deal with you just to get out of being a big brother, and now I'm just... It's like being around Freya, it's just the whole fucking thing with Defer all over again.
It really is foolishness. Fate can only bend so much before breaking. The behavior of that childish little girl really is concerning. But more so, how disappointing. There's not a stop put to it. What has your captain done about her actions? Any punishment? Any penance for the danger she's caused you?
Not as far as I know. Which... I mean, she just... keeps fucking up. But I guess it's not really my place to do anything since I'm not the captain.
Your inability to resolve the situation is concerning, though I know you are trying your best. Perhaps it might be suitable to do as I did in my game against Atunis. Stack the deck against yourself and put your faith in luck alone. And Takai, you feel this very weird physical sensation as your bones seem to harden for a moment, your muscles suddenly grow sore. You feel like some part of the arcane that has lived within you since your deal with Vertus has been affected. It's kind of like as if a thick blanket has been put over the core of this magic, muffling it, stifling it for a bit. And Virtus continues, up until your trip into the heavens is done, and you touch back to the sea, you will be handicapped. But I'm your patron, and my care for your safety is truly my utmost priority. So I will give you 3 pieces of fortune as an exchange. So mechanically what this will mean, you will take a point of exhaustion that will not expire until you are back down in the sea.
I remember this.
But you will have 3, and you feel in your pocket suddenly appear small circular coins. They're not gold pieces, but they have the same dimensions. There's like a small hole plucked within the middle of each one. Mm-hmm. These give you a free reroll 3 occasions until they're used up. So a little bit of the yin and the yang here.
Okay.
Kai, my champion, I think you know what you must do. Now with a little encouragement. Someone has to pay. Responsibility must lay somewhere. And with that, you awake.
I'm afraid.
Well, fuck.
Oh shit.
God, I want a magical sugar daddy. Sheesh.
Hey,
You had him as a
open for more
magical sugar daddy
positions?
once.
Yeah. And look how that turns out. Remember?
I'm confused and also afraid.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. We're doing shots. You're fine.
Yeah, at this point, Freya's like unconscious.
One quick second here. Write this in my notes. Cool. All right. The rest of the night largely is uneventful for the rest of the crew. You wake up, you have the morning to yourself before you expect to get to the reverse whirlpool. Anything folks are doing before you actually arrive. There will be some things that you'll be able to do once you get there, but any sort of preparations.
I have one thing that I'd like to do. Remember when we were in, I think it was when we were in Razim's place, there was a sack of poison that we got from one of the spiders. I like to...
It's not my place.
Your place?
I'd like to fashion it, at least over the next few days, so that I can incorporate that into a blade, like a toggle that'll go through the blade and then inject whatever is stabbed one time with that poison.
Ooh. Say it one more time?
So basically, that poison that we got from that big spider in Razim's cave that we went to before, I want to make it so that I can make an invention, so eventually for like a sword or something like that, if you click on the pommel of it or the hilt, it will unlock the poison to go into the blade when it stabs into someone.
That's so clever. I love that. Let me grab... I don't remember offhand how much damage the poison did, just so I can... Do you recall what session that was in?
Oh, I don't remember. But it doesn't have to be exactly that amount of damage, because that might get broken with...
17 or 16.
Because I'm making this specifically for Freya, since you are our rogue of the party, and you have a short sword anyway.
Yay!
17 or 18, Ruben.
Thank you. The phase spider? Yes.
Oh, Face Spider was 18.
Yes. Let's see here.
Can you roll for accidental stabbing of yourself?
Please.
I would.
Yeah, you might have to.
So let's say it is, and this is what, a one-off thing or a multiple?
A one-off thing. So it would utilize that poison, and once it's drained, it's drained.
I'll give you the full effect of the poison damage, which would have been 4d8. So an extra 4d8 to whatever. If it were a recurring thing, I would.
Of course, yeah.
Nerf it, yeah. One and
Yeah,
done.
no. One time, just stabbing in all the spider poison you got. That's good narrative shit right there.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. Love it.
Is that something that I'll have available to hand out to Freya now, or will that be over the next couple of days eventually?
To be fair, it's been some time since you emerged from that tomb. So if you want to say that maybe you've been like working on it alongside your other projects, I think it's fair to have it around now. Yeah.
All right. Then I'll just pull Freya aside really fast so that we can design it together. Freya, are you there?
I'm here. Wait, hold on. Let me redo that. She has a. Yeah.
Oh, dear. You can't handle your liquor, I suppose.
She's hungover.
It's okay. I'll be quiet. I won't work on this until after you're out of the room, since it involves blacksmithing and it's loud. But for your... I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a present.
A present?
Yeah. My goal is, while I'm on this ship, is to make one little present for everyone here, if I can, before I go. I am going to be making you a little bit of an extension to your sword. But I want to make sure that the details are just right. Okay. So he gives you a blueprint of your sword as it already is, and he just has like a little pencil that kind of magically improves things on the picture without like changing it too much. So it's like a 3D-ish blueprint that's using like illusion spell or what have you to Tony Stark what it looks like. And he just says, so this is the little bit of poison that I have for you, but to utilize it, you'll have to press this button. But before that, make it look as pretty as you want, any kind of crystal design to go along the sword.
So she's gonna take she's gonna take the pencil. Does the pencil change colors?
Yes.
Okay, so she's gonna even though her head hurts and she's very tired, she's gonna draw out this like very pretty like blue and purple iridescent, like she doesn't have the artistic prowess to like draw something that looks iridescent, but she's gonna try to make it look that way and write little notes and everything, and it's very pretty. So is it a new sword or is it just an add-on?
It's just your sword, but it's an add-on that like slips onto it. And then once the pommel is pressed, then it releases the liquid that travels down the veins of this crystal and then injects into whoever you stab one time.
Okay. So the crystal itself is like round and almost like opalescent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's colorful and it looks very much like a smoothed precious stone.
Okay.
And it's very glittery.
Okay. So mark that down on your list that I've worked on that before we head out. It's a one-time use poison effect, and it's 46 poison damage, you said?
48.
48. And that's in addition to what your normal slashing would be. So you would press that as like, I guess, a bonus action or something. I don't know how you would use it, but just keep that in mind.
I'm not really sure either.
End scene.
Save that for a special day.
Bad.
Bad EpiPen.
It's a very bad EpiPen. I mean, I guess it does solve the allergy one way,
Gonna do this right in front of Freya's door.
Can't be allergic when you're dead.
All right.
What was the damage added?
48.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So near the beginning of the afternoon, I think probably Sunny at the lookout sees the first signs of the reverse whirlpool that you've been told exists here. It appears to be a swirling vortex of water. It's unlike, obviously, any whirlpool that you've seen before. It ascends upward into the heavens, blasting water up by some unknown force. It's kind of like a miniaturized reverse mountain, but only the water. It starts wide at the base and then tapers up to a point in the sky past the clouds you can't see. As you're getting closer to this large sort of almost like bubbling of water up into the sky, you feel droplets of water strike your face. You always kind of have this to a certain extent, given you are out on the sea, but even more so now, you can taste the sea's salty flavor. Wind is tossing your hair, except for McCleary. Each of your hands grip the sturdy wood of the limelight. You can feel the force of this reverse whirlpool tugging at the ship, even from your safe distance. There's a tremendous amount of sound, too, from it that, it might be blaring once you get up to it, with just so much water being perpetually channeled up into the sky. It almost looks like someone has some kind of column of water effect and is just continuously bringing this up into the air. You're at a safe distance for now. Here's how this will work mechanically. So we're going to take this like the reverse mountain skill challenge. So each person on the ship will do something to help contribute to the success of the ship's ascent, and you will make a skill check to accompany that. That can have advantage or disadvantage depending on how clever the particular thing you want to do is, and the DC will also depend on that as well. You want to avoid failing checks 3 or more times because there may be some impact to the ship. I remind you, you've seen bits of driftwood and a skeleton along the way. So, I want to hear from each person what you're doing to help this ship either prepare in the sort of preliminary period, or once it actually goes up, what your task is.
Okay.
So let me, I'll just go up from the bottom of the Discord call list. So starting with Takai.
Just for clarification, has the exhaustion taken effect, or is it not going to take effect until we actually get up into the Cetarian place?
It takes effect upon you waking up. That's correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because that's going to affect how my rolls go for this. Okay. What I'm going to say I'm going to do is I think what Takai's going to do, since it's what he's good with from tying ropes for nets and spears and all of that, he's going to just tie some really tight knots to keep the sails kind of stowed away and not getting in anyone's not becoming a distraction, not getting damaged by the general force of the winds of everything, and kind of keeping it from catching the wind, and also keeping them stowed so that we're not affected by a whole lot of oh god, what's the word? Drag from the wind blowing against it, since we're going up this motherfucker.
Cool. Make either a survival or a dexterity check.
Okay. And let me tick the disadvantage. Okay. Can I make an argument for a sleight of hand check?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
That was you got a nat 20 on that.
That is 0 for 1. Or one for 1 in terms of strikes, which is how I'll be counting it. Cool. Next, let's try Sunny.
I think Sunny sees the geyser, goes, oh, I see what's going on. He's gonna come down from the crow's nest, and he's gonna, anything loose on deck, he's either going to shift to below deck or tie it the fuck down. Because we don't need that shit everywhere.
sleight of hand or survival.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Very nice.
Is there any way I can also like give bardic inspiration to a few people?
Totally. This is still a skill check for sure.
I think McCleary can have a bardic inspiration, and Myrtle. Because I don't know when the next time we're gonna have a rest is, so I don't want to burn them all just yet.
Okay.
That is a D8.
Oh, damn.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Next up, Razim.
Razim has the unique ability to utilize Lil Z as basically a second body that can mimic his movements. So he decides to use that to take as much space or area of the ship as possible as a floater, kind of to make sure if anything's going wrong, he can immediately attack it and try to fix the problem. And with Little Z, they're able to do it much more efficiently as compared to just him by himself. Or sometimes he'll, if he sees something's going wrong on the other side, he can just send Little Z over to immediately fix it. And since they're kind of, I guess I would say they're kind of connected, Little Z would know what to do.
Whatever you say, boss.
Oh, God.
Basically. So there's the power of teamwork. It's like ice climbers, I guess, is the best way to
Yeah.
It's like ice climbers.
Make either I get perception or a survival check, your choice.
Perception or survival is still +1 for me. God damn it. Is it advantage or no?
You have Little Z's help, so sure, with advantage.
Okay.
It's cute.
20 +1. I'll roll twice.
Hey.
No?
I guess we're fine.
Nice. Very good. Very, very good.
Yay!
Yeah, Little Z is pretty helpful, I guess, when he wants to be.
He's zipping around like
He's
Astro
zipping
Boy.
That's actually a cute image. Sweet. Next up, Myrtle.
Myrtle is going to create a little potion, which is just me casting a spell to give to someone. He is going to be casting Enhance Ability, and he's going to just, for flavor, he's making a small little potion that he can give to Harlow. You can either get Bear's Endurance, Bull Strength, Cat's Grace, Eagle's Splendor, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to put this in the chat for you. But that's just for later. For me, I'm specifically looking for air currents, not for like immediately where we're in now, but like looking for changes in weather patterns that are coming this way so we can plan for it. Since we are going to be in the air.
Totally. So maybe perception or survival.
Okay.
Or nature.
Whatever you think you deem right.
You can choose whichever of those you'd like. I can
I'll
make
use
I can
nature
do
because
Okay. Hey, it's weather. It works. Makes sense.
It is 12.
Use that.
I'm going to use my reaction to use Flash of Genius. So that'll use up one of my resources, but I get a +4 to that.
Okay.
You got a bardic inspo, didn't you?
Yes, but I'm going to keep that for later, just in case.
Okay. Fair enough.
How much does that add to that check?
It turns it into a 16.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. That passes. Excellent. All right.
So it's what, 15 the
There are 4 people
breaking
left.
point?
So y'all could still fail at this point if they all do poorly.
Yeah.
Next, Marini.
Okay. How are we getting? Are we at like a 90-degree angle, or are we like?
You're currently flat on the ocean, but you expect that you might very well be at that angle once you go up.
Going at a 90-degree angle.
Perhaps.
All right. Perhaps. I think Marine's gonna start warning people, hey, tie yourself to something stationary, and be like, listen, I can all leave you guys. I can leave all of you. I don't need this shit to get up there. However, I've decided to stay on this ship and help, so we are not going to fucking die today.
Wow, that's a
I'm giving morale.
Rousing speech by the bird
By the
lady, I
MILF.
guess.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh, what's my fucking fuck?
It should be decent. I mean, you are a
Plus,
paladin.
yeah, it's +2. With advantage. Okay.
You want to roll it again? Yeah,
19.
cool.
Hey.
Okay,
Excellent. So
we're
you, so
good.
you
We got
pass.
it.
So now the remaining three would
Fucking
all have to
wimpy.
fail for it to. Actually, still two more could still fail. McCleary, you're up.
I think that he is going to go below deck and try to distribute the weight of the ship, like move the cannons and cannonballs and powder and all that stuff, so that it's equally distributed, so that we don't tilt in any sort of direction or
We are
fall
probably going to
backwards.
tilt up.
Okay, well then I put more. Yeah, I distribute it so that it works based on what I could assume the angle will be taking on the air geyser.
Make either a wisdom check or a survival check.
Let's see what those are. It's the same. Hey. Damn. Okay.
Great.
Well,
Excellent.
Nice.
All right. Good job, guys. Next up, Harlow.
You're muted.
You muted, Jonah.
Shit. Okay, that was I don't know how long I was muted for. I think I would. Let's see. Did we put the sails down?
I
wanna keep them up.
tried to kind of wrap them up to decrease wind resistance.
Okay.
Did not do a very good job of it.
Okay. Can I I guess that doesn't work. I was gonna say, can I say I helped him after I saw he did a poor job and have him roll again?
Sure, if you want to give that to him. Yeah. So I'll give you another roll. Then that'll be Harlow's turn. So roll it again for me.
Good luck.
Jonah, I would like to remind. Well, you know what? Harlow would probably not know this, so.
There we go.
Nice.
Okay.
Hey.
Excellent. All right.
The
sweet.
screaming and
best.
terror helped.
It's the luck.
Teamwork.
Okay, cool.
And last but not least, Freya.
So I'm assuming no matter how Freya rolls, we're good.
Hey, sorry about that. I was muted. All right. So let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna assist with tying things down, but I'm gonna use Mage Hand to kind of make things a little bit quicker.
That one more time. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me okay?
Mhm.
All right, so I am going to assist with tying things down, including people who ask for assistance. But I'm also going to be using, I want to use Mage Hand to kind of assist with making it quick.
Sure.
Okay.
Cool.
Excellent.
Make a. By the way, I'm hearing slapback from my.
Sorry,
audio.
that was my bad. I had the volume way up because I had my headphones off. I wanted to at least hear it while the headphones were off.
All good. You can make a sleight of hand check or a survival check, your choice.
Okay. Let's see what's. Okay, survival is okay. I'm gonna do sleight of hand because I have a +3 and with survival I have +0. So let's see how this goes. Sweet, I got a 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Perfect. Oh, that
Oh,
nat
it's a
20.
natural
actually.
20. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Very cool. All right. Everyone's pretty good at getting the ship ready. You have the weight distributed. You have things locked down. You probably have a handful of people who are literally tied, kind of Pirates of the Caribbean style when the ship flips over. Okay. Let me change the music. Okay. The ship begins moving towards into the current, this geyser, and it begins tilting upward as it does so. The stern, 45 degrees, 7 degrees, 80 degrees, almost tipping the entire ship a full 90. But given the weight distribution that you've been able to achieve, you can avoid that more treacherous situation. As you kind of have now caught the current here, the ship is carried 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 feet into the air. Those of you who are, either bound up or just, holding on for dear life, you can see behind you the Grand Line getting smaller and smaller. The bits of driftwood and other vessels that you found in the area around the geyser are now barely visible, only little bits of black in your vision. And in front of you, approaching like a wall, the white-gray of the clouds above. At first, it feels like it will really smack into you, but of course, the moment it passes over the ship, visibility brought down temporarily to 0, you only feel the gust of wind in your hair as the sound of rushing water, the usual rhythm of the sea, is replaced by the calm, majestic aura of the sky. The ship is creaking a little bit in this very uncomfortable position for it, but it has made it up several hundred feet into the sky above, and it begins to tilt back towards a normal angle as it does so. You see the bright, beautiful blue above. A few birds actually rest at the crow's nest now that you're there. The ship is now coasting, not on the water, but on the clouds itself. You look over the edge and you can see the slight indent of the ship between the silvery wisps. Behind the limelight, you leave a small wake parting the clouds, though it's quickly filled back in by the others. This is the sky current, the stream that follows the Grand Line from above. You have a moment to kind of catch your breath and observe the sights here. There's no break in the clouds beneath you, that is, and the current seems to continue onward, straight line. It's about an hour up here, like this. I'm curious, now that y'all have made it here, what's the immediate reaction?
I think for Marini, she was probably making sure that McCleary could still steer the ship, so she was behind him, making sure that he stays steady. But as soon as they're on normal cloud, she just, in rare Marini form, just sort of screams in joy and is laughing and is having fun here.
Aww, back home.
From above you, coasting maybe only 50 feet above the crow's nest. Well, you see it first, Marini. Everyone else hears it first. What you can only see small versions of from below. A massive creature is above the ship. Let me change the little map here a little bit. I found a suitable picture for this.
Hey.
This massive creature is several miles in length, at least a mile across, probably. And it casts a massive shadow over you and the clouds around you. It kind of dips beside the ship, its mouth kind of going under the clouds, then back up before it kind of keeps some distance between you and it. Another whale song leaves it echoing through the sky. Of course, it's not hard to understand what you're seeing. This is a sky whale, native to this environment and beyond stunning in its beauty. You get a very good look at it that you've not been able to see from the surface. You've only seen the Cetarians flying around it. You've never really seen what's on top because it has been largely obscured from your perspective, let alone way too far away. The upper portion of the whale is this beautiful greenish-brown color, kind of as if it were like a moss-covered frog in a pond. There are small bits of rock and hills that dot its spine along the back on the top of it. Its underside is a kind of cream white color, and where the grooves of its blubber lie, there are these beautiful blue lines glowing slightly in the flickering afternoon light. Every so often you can see etched set of symbols, markings by one of these grooves. Text that I think y'all would now recognize as the Cetarian language. Marini, as the only person who can read it, you know, of course, what these names are and why these names are etched into the bottom of the sky whale. These are the names of the individuals who've lived on this whale in the past, but who've been passed on to the next life. The whale's fins gently and slowly pat away at the air, while its massive fin at the back, its tail, rises up, then goes back down, causing a cascade of clouds to radiate out as if crashing through the air. It moves back up again, and you can see the whale's blue eyes with flecks of gold and yellow in the color. It blinks very slowly. You also see for the first time civilization on top of the whale. Villages, homes, meeting spaces, little fires, gatherings of people, all atop the sky whale's back. There's a family enjoying a meal around a fire. To your left is a group of elders conversing while hovering a few feet off the ground with their wings. And to the right, there's a young girl being helped by her older brother to fly for the first time, her wings, just, very little puffs of feathers. And
Ernie is sobbing.
It is your first sight into the world of Cetarians, and the several hundred of whom live atop this whale. The whale begins to slow its current position, moving alongside the ship, its starboard fin, very, very close to the side of the limelight. What's everyone's reactions?
I don't think Harlow has ever seen one alive or this close. So he's probably struggling to make sure the ship is not like uprighting itself or anything like that. But also, he's in awe, clearly. I think a lot of us are.
Out of character, I'm tearing up.
It's finally happening, guys.
Oh my god.
Sky whales!
It's the Earhart arc.
It only took us 10 years to get here, guys.
We made it, guys! We made it to Axiom.
Oh my god. I'm so excited.
No. Riley! You ruined it. You ruined it for him.
Yeah, I think that McCleary, he just smiles a big toothy grin, and he sort of subconsciously rubs the brass compass he has in his pocket that was given to him by his brother as he's looking at the whale. And then he kind of looks down to his magic carpet and grips that closer in case he falls off.
I think...
Takai,
Go ahead.
Takai is like at the railing staring at the whale, jumping up and down and giggling. And at one point he just calls up to Marini, "Marini! That is the biggest fucking fish I've ever seen!"
It's a
So say again, Riley, you.
Oh, Marity's still crying. She's like, it's not a fish. It's a mammal.
I don't know what that is, but cool.
Okay.
It's not a fish, it's a mammal.
It's an orange.
Freya's completely dumbstruck. Like, she's just gazing on with like an almost reverence. Just because, one, she's never really seen a big community like this before. and 2, that is the biggest fucking whale. That biggest anything that she's ever seen in her life. So she's feeling a mix of anxiety and bewilderment and wonder.
I just stare silently at the majestic sky whales with a smile on my face, and then I turn slightly and call little Z over to watch with me.
He sits on your shoulder and is enjoying the view with you.
And I say, "Drink it all in, little Z. Not many people get to see something like this."
You see several Cetarians who've now noticed the presence of your ship right next to the Sky Whale. Each of whom are flying off the side of it. They look fairly similar to Marini. They have these beautiful, large, white, angel-like wings, amber golden, orange eyes. One appears to be male, larger than the other two in size, holding a spear, the end of which appears to be like a sharp, pointed edge of some kind of tooth or something. But he is behind 2 others, women, just as tall as Marini, one that has dark raven-colored hair and the other with shorter brown hair. The 3 of them make their way over to the side of the limelight. And the dark-haired Cetarian, still hovering with her wings, kind of now moves almost over the main deck of the ship. And as beautiful as the sight is, there is a reason why so few go up here and are able to tell the tale. And of course, you've seen firsthand when you came up here with Salome at the airship port, just what else encounters the Cetarians in this space. So it's by no means a surprise when she says in Cetarian, Bibrast sutas, pakorai zingal bishadek morik, dishfail sutas aretzai.
I look to Marini and I say, "Tell her we come in peace, lass."
Marini sort of pushes through. So yeah, she's about the same size as me, but Marini still like puts her wings out to the full wingspan. Yeah, make herself look bigger. Just Sutazai Reajal Rashtishven Borshe Gaduin Sutas Prithoralash.
They pull back for a moment and look at Marini, very skeptical of what she said. You can tell this, this is an expression that translates over languages. They then kind of fly back together, the 3 of them, conversing amongst themselves, arguing actually a little bit with what to do.
Can we hear them even though we can't understand them? Are they close enough?
Understood one word and it meant scum.
Yep.
We're not allowed on the whale, guys.
Marini's like watching them with her hands on her hips, waiting.
Oh, so they're within earshot and we can hear them?
No. They are probably 50 feet away from you at this point, talking to themselves.
What are we, like,
we heard
too
the
tall
initial
to ride this?
conversation, though. Yeah.
You heard the remarks from the Cetarian. You also heard Marini responding. Yes.
What did you tell them, lass?
I told them that I took over the ship. You are all my harem. However, the boy is too young for whoring, so he will have to fight other Cetarian children.
Why did you specifically choose that option?
I
Can
I insight check that?
Believable?
Go for it.
I mean,
I would also like to insight check that.
Sure. Both of you can insight check, and
You still have inspiration as well.
You can make either persuasion or a deception based on what you're actually doing. You can just tell me the result.
Takai makes no insight check. He's fine with this.
I just want to know the truth.
I know. I know I'm attractive, but you could have picked something else, anything, right?
This was the most believable.
Chad, you just don't have
We really have to sell the story, though.
Yes.
It only lasts 10 minutes, buddy.
Okay, I'm using it. It's a D8.
Yeah.
Shut up, Myrtle. I know where this is going.
You remember that the mer people in the blue below aren't the only creatures that eat humanoids.
Oh.
Well, if it gets us through this without any trouble,
there will be trouble. This is most likely.
Well, we got Marini here. She vouched for us. We're her harem.
As long as we don't get Horde out, we should be fine, right?
What did Marini get?
Flying kids.
What am I rolling?
Deception or persuasion?
Let's see what my persuasion is in comparison.
Well, are you?
Well, no. Are you telling the truth or are you lying?
We'll
Riley,
see.
Okay.
I'm persuaded.
Yeah, that's what the skill is.
But if you're lying,
Okay.
you have to roll deception.
Oh wait, why did I roll advantage?
I don't know what
I mean, it's both a +2,
Yeah,
so that's up to you.
So which one are we taking? The 5 or the 9?
Wait, did you say advantage or?
No. Just a straight roll.
The 5 then.
5. So yeah, so Sunny and McCleary, Marini is BSing you here. That is not. She's playing big.
She gives a wink at McCleary for this.
He gives you like a wily smile and kind of nods, like, all right.
She's just saying a little joke.
While you're having this conversation, you see kind of floating on the nearest fin, maybe 100 feet from all of you and fairly behind the adults, there are a few Satarian children, fledglings, kind of watching just the outsiders for the first time. Very curious. The 3 finally have... What?
Mary starts crying again. The children.
The children.
They come back over, and the raven-haired woman says, in accented common, "What is your purpose here?"
What? We never asked the purpose, guys.
Oh, Captain.
The log post sent us up here.
Hey.
Oh yes. My friends, my harem, have. I'm sorry, I'm breaking here. They have a log pose, and it's been pointing towards the sky. And I agreed, as they saved my life while I was being chased by the Imperium, and bleeding to death, that I would help them. They'll be good.
The woman lands on the sails, and her talons slightly piercing part of the sail. I don't think she cares that much about keeping it in good condition.
McCleary cringes at that, like, not the sails.
And she says, again, in accented common, "So be it. Bishai will decide your fate. Outsiders with dark intentions will be sent to the sea." She then leaves, and the larger male comes over and says, "Leave your weapons here. Can any of you fly?"
A few of us.
Freya raises her hand. I can fly.
For about 2-3 hours.
I'm sorry, I can't fly, much less walk, so I need this stick that I have. Is that okay?
Oh,
yeah. Are you pulling a Gandalf?
Maybe.
Private old man.
Marini is side-eyeing Myrtle like,
I love that. I love that so much. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Riley.
Oh, I was like, Marini is like side-eyeing Myrtle like, motherfucker.
What?
Make a deception check with advantage.
Okay.
Myrtle also still has bardic inspiration.
true. Roll 1d20 plus 1.
Okay.
And then just in case, okay, I'll take that 15, and I'm going to use that 1d8 as well.
Okay.
1d8 to add a grand total of 8.
Hey.
Damn.
Fucking hell.
I wouldn't deprive an old man of his walking stick. It's a relic of my work as making toys.
Fair enough. And the three of them
He is
fly.
kind old man, I promise.
The three of them fly back over to the whale. They're gonna let y'all figure out how to get onto it. There we
So-
go.
He addresses the crew really quick and is like, "Do not embarrass me."
Aye. You're putting your neck out for us, I imagine. So we do well to remember that, eh? He kind of looks at everybody else.
I don't know.
I'm
you're
sorry, I
talking
didn't hear
about.
that.
I'm
What'd you say?
perfectly behaved always.
So,
Right.
Buzz behaved as little Z. Right?
I'm always well behaved.
You
All
have
right,
no
so we're good to
soul.
go.
I have a soul and free will.
Oh God.
Yeah, both of them.
Mary pinches her nose bridge.
Maybe we leave little Z back on the ship.
What?
Guard
And miss
it?
all the sights and sounds? Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Unbelievable. He'll be good. You'll be good, right, Lil Z? No trouble, right? Ahem. I popped Lil Z in the back of the head.
Oh no, it's a shame. It doesn't seem to be responding.
Wait a minute, what's going on with... Oh.
Once you're done with that, I want to do one small thing.
Sure, please.
While after the person leaves, seeing you said there were like you said there were children like up here, right?
They're on one of the fins. It's about 100 feet away from you currently, kind of watching on the side of the whale.
Okay, so we're not like parked or anywhere. We're still.
You're floating next to it. The fin is the closest portion of the whale to you.
Okay, fair enough. If they're that far away, then I'm not going to do anything. I'll wait until later.
And leaving our weapons, is it?
I unplugged my headphones. Ah!
Oh shit.
Whatever those are.
Whatever those are.
What did you say? Sorry.
We really have to leave our weapons, Marini?
I mean, we won't hack you. And in case of an emergency, there are weapons on the whale. But
All right.
I would
Fair
advise
enough.
that we do leave them. Just don't get in any sort of trouble where you then would need a weapon.
Right, of course.
You have your fist. We're fine with that.
And we have our sharp wit and our sharp tongues and... Hey, all that.
And Myrtle can hold his breath for an hour.
Hey, a good parlor trick.
It is. Used it many times. I was going to bring it with me because I feel more confident with this, but I'll leave it back if you give me a little bit of a, if you promise me to do something when we get over there.
And he's going to very quickly make, with his glass balloon staff, a replica of one of the sky whales, and it's slightly animated so that it just does the little motion of like the tail moving.
That's cute as shit. I love that.
And he says,
You see those three kids that have been staring and occasionally waving and turning away and all that stuff that children tend to do? They've probably never seen, much less have I seen it. This has always been like a fairy tale to me. I think it'd be cute to give them a little fairy tale as well. Do you mind passing this over to them eventually once we're over?
Of course, I'll bring you with me.
Oh, okay. I need to cut down on the pounds. I'm a little heavy.
And
I was trying to think, how do we get Myrtle onto the whale?
Well, show of hands, who can fly? Lucy could...
Mooney was right.
a
I
few
can
trips.
float.
I can fly and I can make someone else fly too.
You know what? Why don't y'all save your spells? Those of you that can't fly naturally, you can just hop a ride on Lucy.
I'll take. Sure.
Single file. Unless there's a weight limit. I think there is.
I'm not that heavy.
Right, well, fly, you
Rugby,
stupid son of a bitch.
a little bit.
And Lucy goes, whoop.
Whoop.
And McCleary goes first. Because it's his flying carpet.
Okay.
I fly along tandem with you, just so that you're not strange
Alone.
bald man flying straight to the whale.
The strange bald man.
All right, so we fly over to the whale?
And how's everyone else getting over there?
I'm flying.
Cool.
I'm
can
waiting
send-
for my magical Uber.
Yeah, I send Lucy back.
Yeah,
For-
take
for the
Lucy
rest.
back to Myrtle.
I get in and I tip them once I'm back.
Who am I missing? I think Sunny Razine. Oh, so Razine can float. How's Sunny getting over?
I don't know.
You can take Lucy
Yeah, boy.
one at a time. She'll port you back and forth.
Here, you know what? Sonny's little. Mary's just gonna carry him over.
Oh, so it's close enough to where like something like levitate will work, getting there or whatever.
Yeah, it's about 100 to 200 feet away.
To be fair, if you use levitate and then each you and somebody on the magic carpet held the end of a rope, they could just pull you along.
Okay, weird, but all right.
Well, because
I'll take
levitate's
it.
not fly. You can't technically move when you levitate. It just means that you are off the ground.
I can. Yeah, I guess I have to use some type of. Yeah.
Consider.
Or you can just ride on the carpet.
Consider
all right.
Mary going to Sunny and going, uppies.
What?
You're in my harem now.
No, the boy's just too young for whoring.
No,
He
she
must
said I
fight
had
the
to go
others.
fight the
You
children.
knife fight with the other children over the scraps of
fun.
food.
Lord,
Scraps of
okay.
human they eat.
Okay, so I think between all of that,
Uppies
y'all
for
get
Sunny.
y'all can make it over to the whale. Transportation for this group seems to be the thing that it's not. It's your critical role doors, basically.
Yeah. yeah.
It's our
How
fucking
do we get the
window.
gold up
We'll
to the
we'll
thing?
kick
How do
a
we...
door down, but it's like, well, we didn't think through how we're getting
Well,
from point
okay.
A to point B.
But four people can fly. We could have like cast
Fine.
it and then carried someone, or we just didn't
Sure.
think about it. Freya could carry someone. Marini could carry someone. Takai could carry someone.
Mhm.
Razim can float. I have a magic carpet. Like
Go.
we're in.
There we
Hacker
go.
boys.
Blackjack.
Blackjack.
Right, write a quick note down. All right. So between all of that, over the course of maybe 20 minutes, you're slowly but surely getting onto the back of the whale. You're kind of in the middle of the village here, and several Satarian warriors, similar to both the two women and the male that you encountered earlier, are standing watch over you. They kind of march you over towards the head of the whale, literally the head, the front of it. And you have a really nice perspective here because the angle of the whale kind of slopes upward over there. You can see the entire village. And I think maybe while everyone is being watched over kind of in a small huddle, basically being surrounded by folks who have weapons pointed at you, Marini is not so restricted. In fact, I think several Satarians go up to Marini and are having conversation with you in Satarian about where you came from, about your village, why you're with these outsiders. It's very, very rare to see, and is confusing to pretty much every Satarian that you have encountered up here. And Marini, what do you tell them in kind of general terms?
Like, she's like explaining everything she's been through, like going through the whole thing. She takes out like the sword that she stole from the Imperial ship, and then she takes out like the shield that she stole from the Imperial ship. And then she has like the bag of like the whale not teeth. Oh, I forgot what they're called.
Uh,
Baleen.
yes.
Yeah, the whale baleen that she found in the tomb, and like is pointing at them, like, no, they healed me. I was dying, bleeding out in the desert. Talks about how they beat the shit out of Brandon.
Cool. Awesome. After some time kind of waiting, just kind of standing around, Marini just chatting it up with, with the rest of the group here. I get the sense that maybe you all just kind of let that happen, let her ingratiate herself and the rest of y'all with the group here. But after some time waiting, you're greeted by an older Cetarian, an older woman. Still fairly tall like the others, but her wings are a little bit smaller, and the very pure white color that the other Cetarians have here is now kind of faded. It's gray around the edges, and it has like a very light blue tint to it. And she communicates something to Marini, which translates to, even if you are friends with one of our kind, we cannot let you see the home island without the All-Mother's approval. We hope you will understand.
Of course. And Marini is very nice to Old Lady. Very gracious. Makes herself smaller than Old Lady Cetarian.
One of the aides passes along to 7 of the 8 of you. Small little necklaces. Each one has a little pendant at the end, a small kind of oval shape, a little bit of stone, very thin. It naturally glows this slight pink color, pink hue, and it switches to blue whenever you talk while it's around your neck. And what it basically is a translator. So suddenly the Cetarian that you hear is converted in your ears, and it's like a fantasy version of like the Star Trek, translator thing that they have.
Nice.
Except the mouth movements are still Cetarian. So it's kind of like, it looks like very bad dubbing, although it's very clear and understandable in your ears. You can kind of hear a little bit of the Cetarian very, very softly beneath the common. And the woman, the elder woman, says, you will go one at a time in an order she decides. You then hear a very loud whale song from the All-Mother, and it's the first time you've heard it while being on her back. And while it's usually occasionally a more piercing sound, maybe even shrill at times when you've been on the ground, when you're in this spot, especially right over her head, there's something much warmer about it. You can also feel the vibrations through your feet. There's something palpable about the sound beyond it just sounding very cool that you're right here. There's like it's hard to say if it's arcane, is it spiritual, is it religious, but you have this sense of relaxation when you hear this sound. It's kind of akin to seeing your mom for the first time in some few years, or seeing someone that you care for after some time apart. And there's also kind of a secondary sound that you hear at the end of the whale song. It's akin to kind of like the sound of putting your ear to a shell at the beach. There's this like gust of wind, this crashing of the waves effect at the end that you never hear when you are on the ground or on the limelight. And as if that has communicated the answer to the elder's question, she gently points to you, McCleary.
He sort of points at himself like me. Aye.
She and another of the Cetarian guards take you right towards the edge of the top here, where the head kind of slides off towards the side of the face and the cheek of the whale. There are no ladders here. Of course, there aren't. These are Cetarians. They fly. There's no reason to have any such things to accommodate outsiders. Only the slight grooves and the scars of time alongside her face. It's not a perfectly smooth face here. There's enough kind of blubber and such that you would be able to kind of like rock climb your way down, but there is no support here. And if you were to look down, you would just see clouds beneath you. The elder, before you kind of begin to decide how to handle this, the elder points to a small space like a patch of skin, kind of like the bags of the eyelid, so to speak, beneath the All-Mother's right eye. And it forms something of like a seating spot, a bench of sorts, where you could very carefully sit, though one tilt backwards and you would be tumbling into the sky.
I'm a bit confused here. You want me to sit on the eye bench? He sort of looks at Mary with like his eyebrows raised, like, what the fuck is going on?
Mary's like nodding, like, get on the eye bench.
Right. Fly, you stupid son of a bitch. And he unfurls Lucy and sort of looks at the Cetarians like as if they're gonna have a problem with that. Is there any sort of reaction from them?
From the Cetarians at the
at the magic carpet?
They look. I think the elder looks a little disappointed.
He is that something I'd note?
Make an insight check with advantage. Yes. I don't think it's, I think the grandma is upset with you gesture is universal. I don't think you have to be particularly wise to know how that looks.
At seeing that, he rolls the carpet back up, and then he's like, okay, and I'll try to climb down the blubber to the eye.
Okay. Make a acrobatics check with advantage.
Okay.
16.
16 or 10.
Okay. I think you are able to, very, very carefully bring yourself down from the spot. It's very precarious. But you feel confident. There's this weird sense in you that that is unlike anything you've felt before. As you are able to very carefully find the seat right there, staring up at this massive whale eye. And McCleary, the moment that you begin looking at her, the sense that you had earlier, this kind of spiritual, religious thing, it's hard to describe. You've been on the Grand Line before. You've never had this kind of encounter. You're used to things being very tactile, very controllable. You have your weapons. They are predictable. They are trustworthy. You're used to your aim, to your experience. You're used to directions, to the weather. You know how a ship works. Everything is, there is a clear answer to it in some sense. And I think your approach comes from that experience, that confidence. This is something that is so beyond that. And it's not just that you're sitting on a giant whale's eyelid. It's more so that there's I'm not sure if it's a magic or if it's a spiritual thing or if it's a religious thing. There is something about just the presence of of looking at the eye of the All-Mother. Beautiful brown, flecks of gold within, moving, shifting. And as you look and take a moment to really take in what you're looking at, something older than the world itself looks back. Let me change the music real quick. McCleary, you hear a sound echo in the depths of your mind, and it says, "You let your friends drown, John McCleary." You're back on the Dread Slaughter. The horrible storm that caught your ship in the Grand Line when you first came here.
Shit.
You're at the helm. You hear shouting from the left, from the right. A massive wave crashes on the deck, and there's another one coming from the starboard side, threatening to rip off the sails. The larger one eventually does crash into the vessel. Parts of it splinter off like a piece of parchment paper and fling people, crew members, into the sea, including yourself. You hold on just a little bit longer, but you slip. And you feel yourself pulled under the Dread Slaughter, the vessel itself kind of now capsized flipped over entirely. And you feel yourself sinking slowly into the deepest part of the water. It's dark here, it's almost black around you. The storm, you can see flashes of lightning. You're cold, and yet you're awake, floating here in the water, beneath the wreck of the Dread Slaughter. The bodies of your crew slowly falling towards the ocean floor. It's weird. It's an almost serene, kind of calm image, despite what it means. But then you see, along with the bodies of your crew, members of the Lee family. Isaac, Bethany, Jason, Anne, and of course, Billy, the father, the member of your crew. And you hear that voice again, and it says, "You killed them. It rests with the captain, with their leader, and you failed them."
I know. I know. I tried. The storm came out of nowhere. I thought if we went through it, you think that was my family. You think Oh, Billy boy. I'm so sorry. I tried. I did.
You see an image of yourself recovering on a beach on some island. Hard to say if it's in the Grand Line or elsewhere. You're sunburnt, you're bloodied, clothes are soaked, you're coughing up seawater. And the voice again, and this voice comes from all over. It is all consuming in kind of the same way at the whale song was. However, it is as if it is coming just through your body. And it says, "Is this the man I see before me? What has changed?"
I suppose it is the man you see before you. But I'm not gonna let their memory go in vain. I'm the best pirate this world has ever seen. And I'll prove it. That treasure, it belongs to the Dread Slaughter. It belongs to the Reavers, to Billy, to all of them. And I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna prove it. Silver Jolly, that clown? Johnny Crossbones. That's the name they'll remember. The Reavers of the Dark Tide. That's what means something. And I swear to any god above, at the end of the day, it's the only names that matter.
We flash to one of the many times you've spoken to Harlow and exchanged secrets. Friends with an double agent, a spy of spies. Can you trust him? Will he lead you to the same mistake you've already made? You let someone else take the fall, the burden too difficult for your shoulders to carry. You see an image of your fight on the airship deck against Achilles. You see, from your perspective, Monty being stabbed in the chest by his friend. McCleary, what from your past, from your experience, redeems you? What would you like the All-Mother to see?
A few things. My relationship with my brother Tommy, and how McCleary, Tommy like sick in bed, hacking his lungs out, and McCleary's like sitting over at the tavern listening to all the sailors. He's probably like 14 at the time. Tommy's probably like 11. And he's listening to the stories that the sailors are telling. And then he runs on home to his brother and he starts telling him what he heard. And he's like, exaggerating stuff, and his brother's writing it down. And I think just a lot of general of that, he really looked out for his family and his brother. And when he became a captain, he tried his best to look out for the crew in the same manner.
You again hear that voice, much softer now. And you've kind of seen the flash of these images of what you just said, your brother, the tavern, your emotions from that moment. Are you a good man, John McCleary?
No. And I'll be the first to tell you that I done a lot of bad in my life. But I'm trying to be someone better. I don't want to be this way. But it's easier to revert back to the things you know than to change the way you are. I'd like to be kind and generous. I'd like to know real love. But I know the truth of the world. That the only way you get ahead is by stepping on the bodies that stand in your way. If I could change it, I would. But why do I have to be the one to make a difference?
Will you keep them safe?
Yes, of course.
You see an image again of your brother. An image of the other members of your crew, perhaps a moment when you first met them, or a fun experience, drinking together, having fun together. All of the good parts of you, McCleary. Because yes, you are the pirate, you are the adventurer, you have these greedy goals of yours, of course, but that isn't, as you said, everything about you. And the All-Mother, of course, can see beyond just the surface level, just beyond what you yourself even are ready to tell. You're still there, on the eye, looking back up, the brown gold specks floating in it. Outside of these visions, no one has ever really known you like this before, or seen from your perspective in anything close to this way. There's a few things that hit you about this. First, of course, the experience itself, but there is an understanding that flows from what has just now happened in the span of a minute, 2 minutes, hard to say. And it's the broader implications of this. The tragedy of the sky whales and their targeting by the Imperium. They aren't just floating islands for the Ceterians. They both hold the communal memory of their clan. Who knows how far back that stretches? And they know, they deeply, deeply know the lives, the triumphs, the heartbreaks of each and every Cetarian that they protect. They call her the All-Mother for a reason. And for perhaps the first time in your life, John McCleary, you feel a weight lifted off your shoulders, a stress relief. There is something just nice about being able to experience this with someone else, even as strange a circumstances as this is. You turn a little bit in your seat. You can see the specks of blue peeking beneath the breaks in the clouds. You don't feel the anxiety you felt before climbing down here as you did. The sky is still there, and now it is welcoming, just as the sea was. What do?
I think he looking in the eye and just all that what you described, like, perfectly, might I add. he really feels the sense of community that the Cetarians have with these creatures and why it's so valuable, just not only to like the sort of symbiosis that they have, but just for the community in general. And he really it's something that I think he longs for, but that he knows that he'll always be an outsider looking at. But it is he hides a lot of who he is for a lot of various reasons, but to have something even reflecting the bad things back at him, he feels relieved. Like you said, he feels sort of understood. And I think he starts to cry a little bit, and he puts a hand up on the whale's skin by its eye, and he just sort of pats it, and he sits there for a moment or two trying to collect himself. And then he looks back out at the sky, sort of now feeling relieved and at peace next to the whale, and he just mutters, "Oh, Tommy, me boy, if only you could see me now." And then he climbs back up.
Okay. We'll end it there for today's session.
Everyone else will get called out next week.
Have you ever longed to be known by the whale?
Oh my god.
Does the whale even know you?
Dude, I was so fucking tense while listening to that, like, secondhand. Holy shit.
Right, I was like, oh my god, McCleary's gonna get thrown off the whale.
Dude, what if because of our psychic connection to the whale, it saves our ass one time?
Yeah.
Let it happen. Let it save our ass.
I can't wait to get read to filth by a fucking whale.
Yeah.
Do I get read by this whale too?
Amazing. I would highly recommend the whale experience.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. We'll see more therapy sessions next week. We'll get through the rest of everyone. Again, we'll be back here next Wednesday, 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern, middle of the night if you're in the rest of the world. Thank you all so much for staying on to watch our game. We really appreciate it. If you have any art or anything at all, please do drop it in Jonah's Discord, and we will share it at the beginning of next session. Again, thank you all so much, and say goodnight, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
I'm waiting for Alpha to raid into someone, but before that, remember to love each other and yourself. And I know that can be very difficult, but I believe in you guys. Keep on trucking. Have a good rest of your night, guys.